Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing tonight? This is Saturday evening, July 14th, 2018. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Big Chonis. You can follow me on Twitter at Big Chonis. I take technical analysis very seriously. I'm a day trader, a mentor, a gardener, photographer, and a chef. Do your own research. So we are currently looking at Bitcoin. This is our 4-hour chart. And because we were able to break out of our bear channel that we have been following for quite some time here, I'm now ready to basically create a new bull channel off this bear channel here. Now we want to get back to our overall bull channel, which is up here, up in these areas here. But for now, because we have broken out, tested our resistance as support, which we can see a little better here on the 1 hour, we broke out, we'll test, another test we held, and that's basically kept us in this bull channel here that we're slowly trying to move up on. So now we have a new support line down here that we're kind of want to see the price hold. If this breaks, obviously we might retest this line here as support again, and if we drift back into our bear channel, that would be bad. So we want to keep this zone, and we want to continue to test this middle resistance here, which we did a couple hours ago. So this bullish continuation can be possible as long as we're able to hold above this line moving forward here. Now, I did a tweet a couple hours ago in regards to our RSI here, and we basically see we have our resistance line. We clearly have this rising wedge taking place here. You can definitely glean a lot of information from indicator patterns and not just price candle patterns. So the bulls, they want to hold this line here, very sharp upper line that is held basically since about 2-3 days ago, and has allowed this kind of stability and slight bullishness to take place. Right now though, we're finding resistance, and we're so tight here. This price action is tight. We see other areas here where price action has been very tight. We don't want to break down below this line here, because we keep breaking down below this line, these lines of resistance become stronger, especially this one here, which is held for several days. So a bull break would definitely put us above our upper resistance line here, and in a much healthier bullish area here where we can try and retest other areas here of peak off bull performance, where we got nice bullish candles and money flow and eventual follow through. That currently has been broken, so we want to try and see if we can rebuild that. But right now, normally rising wedges tend to break bearish here. So if this were to fail, if this line of support here were to fail, this could definitely fall down, and the fall would break this pattern and basically set up a new pattern here, and again put this line of confluence here, this one right here, keep that solid there, because it was support, it was then resistance, and we're just holding above it right now. So this is still bullish right now as long as we can keep above these two lines here. I do want to bring up the stock RSI again. This is the 1 hour, and we're still kind of drifting above here, healthy bullishness here, but we're kind of fading, and we just had a bear cross here of our blue line on our red there. This can actually be seen a little clearer in our 4 hour, where we've topped off here for a couple days now. And normally the stock can stay up here for several days, and right now we've been up here in this move here for several days. So this is a bear cross currently. We still have some time left in the daily candle. We have a full hour left. So we'll kind of keep watching the price of Bitcoin and to see if this bear cross currently, there's actually follow through. That would lead to a double top up here and basically a new leg down here. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. I did want to bring up our squeeze momentum here. This goes back, I want to go back basically, to April. We basically see when we had our bullish spikes, we had some really nice ones back here. This was the end of March. This was heading into April. Real nice bull action here. Whenever we had a sell-off, they were there, but they were much smaller. We have these abysses, these valleys, low, smaller, not as deep in compared to the size of our mountains here. And that trend has changed. We clearly see our valleys, our abysses, our trenches are deeper, and our green mountains are much smaller. And that kind of continues even now. We have bearishness, more bearishness. Our nice bull move we just kind of went through there, and that gave it all up, and that basically it brought on a pretty nasty, bearish move here that is larger than this one and this one here. So what we have now is our first green candle above. So you could argue that this is a nice bullish move here. We're about to, continue a nice green, mountain here. These are trailing indicators though. So a lot of this is basically used for trend setting and not necessarily the nut tops or the nut bottoms. But the reason I want to bring this up is we have another area over here I wanted to bring up back in May, where we did have one little green candle here that lasted just 1 4-hour candle, and then back to more bearishness there. So even though we have turned this little bullishness here, actually we're into our second one now, just barely. We're kind of see how big this mountain can get. We want this mountain to get much bigger than our previous one, something more like this. And then on any kind of retrace, we want it to be something like this and not something as big as this. So again, something to keep an eye on here. Let's go to, what should we do? Let's look at some longs and shorts, because longs and shorts have really told a story, I feel, about what we're looking at here. Now, I drew this kind of clunky um, head and shoulders here on this longs. Let me see if I can make this a little more. That's better. Longs pattern here, because what I keep seeing here is we have these three humps. We have a higher hump in the middle, our head. We have our left shoulder. We have our right shoulder. And normally when you determine what happens with that is it's basically the head to the neckline. Down, this is a real head and shoulders, so it's supposed to break bearish in regard to an inverse head and shoulders, which would break bullish. So these are our long contracts, and what this means is, this is your market sentiment basically in Bitcoin right now. So we're basically trapped once again in this channel here. Every time we were able to break above, that was a very nice bullish move here, but we're still trapped in this area here. So the long contracts, the people that are prepared to hold long Bitcoin, it's just not seeing it yet. We're just not there yet. And inversely, we have our shorts here. That is basically, we broke out of our falling wedge here. We're putting in lower highs. We're putting in lower lows. We're able to break out. We're still drifting higher. We are currently finding support right at the 0.618 fib here. So, the short contracts are wanting to climb higher and retest these areas up here, which it had been back in the end of March, early April. So these are two things you want to watch in terms of sentiment and basically how that's going to affect the price of Bitcoin there. Litecoin and Ethereum, they're basically moving in very similar directions. How long have we seen, Litecoin here being stuck in this, mid 70s areas, and you really have to ask yourself, is Litecoin cheap right now? If you didn't want to buy it at $74, but you're not going to buy it at 76, so people have had a lot of time to kind of basically decide if they wanted to take a long out on Litecoin and try and see if it can get back and test, $90 and potentially higher here. So we definitely have a lot of stability in this area here. We are currently in our bear channel from where we had our bullish bounce back on our low a couple weeks ago, and we're basically right at our support line here, middle support here. We're also still holding at our 0.68 6.786 fib level, from where we had bottomed and where we had topped out there. So we're finding support here. So these are all still moderately bullish signs there that at least the bottom hasn't completely fallen out yet. In terms of our RSI here, this is our 4-hour. Kind of give a little deference to this here. So yeah, we're clearly showing. Let's get you out of the way for a moment here. So yeah, this is basically kind of our line here. We broke it. We were basically bullish all the way up to it. We did test and hold it. We broke it again. Then it was basically tested again as support, broke it again. And now we're basically hugging it super tight. So everything's very tight right now. Everything is basically showing that very soon there's going to be a pretty definitive move that's going to take place. Either we are able to break bullish, new money flow comes in, sidelines, money decides, oh, this is the time to do it. I've basically bought all the Litecoin I want to buy in 76 level, and I'm prepared to ride it high, or we get our bear break, and our bear break basically would make this line a much more stronger resistance level, and then basically looking at RSI levels down here, and we have seen a general bearish when it's come to the Litecoin Bitcoin ratio. I just wanted to bring that up here. This is LTC BTC, and we're at 0.01221. So basically that's 1.2 and change percent of the price of Bitcoin. And it just continues to fall here. I mean, we have found from a bottom here about 0.011. We're definitely holding a higher low here, but we got to basically break the trend. And until we're able to break, something, something like this line here, which clearly has basically been acting as resistance. Let me clean that up a little bit there. We want to get back into our bear channel right there. Sorry, our bull channel right there. So that's our goal. We need to break this line here, get back on here. This would basically establish a more bullish dynamic. Basically, Litecoin is outpacing the price of Bitcoin. And basically, for a very long time, we have seen the opposite of that. We have seen Litecoin deteriorate at a slightly faster rate. And then any bounce that Litecoin seems to take gets sold off in a more quicker, brutal stance. Looking at Ethereum here. Oh, interesting here. Okay, so look at that. We are right at our resistance still of our bear channel, unable to break above into our bear channel, which is like the best case bearish scenario there. So it's even as bearish as it is there. Yeah, I'm pretty confident with this line here just because of how this area interacted with the middle. This was our top, and basically we're riding there. So we get back in here. Now we're going to test our middle channel support. That could bring us back to 460 or so. If we are able to get back up there, 460, about 460, the amount of profit taking at this area here will be interesting, because every time we see a nice green candle, it seems to just get sold into, where basically people are taking profit, where profit can be found. I'll do a very quick update on some of the coins that were said to potentially be added to Coinbase over the next couple of months there, potentially. And we'll just look at ADA here. Here's our downtrend. This is our downtrend. This was our low back right here, little under 2,000 Satoshi. This was our nut top when we basically were unable to get higher than 2,400 Satoshi. We topped off at the news peak right here at 2,300 Satoshi, and we're trying to climb back to that as well. So we have a nice tight equilibrium now between 2,000 even and 2,300 even here. So this is our zone that we have to keep watching here. A break of this line will bring us to this line, and a break of this line will probably bring us to this line. Both are test it, break it, test it, break it, we go bullish. Test it, break it, test it, break it, we continue our bearish decline. So as long as we hold in this equilibrium, maybe we can find some, support, price support, which could push it higher. Keep an eye on that. This is basic attention token. Playing around here back in the day. This is from an old tweet of mine, and basically, let me just clear out these lines of Elliott. And this guy here, and this is where I'm watching. It's basically right here. So we have a confluence zone here where we're able to break it, but not really able to hold above it for very long. We're able to get above it again, but again for even a shorter amount of time. And once again, we were firmly rejected from it here. So anything above this this green line here, this is your potential blue sky breakout territory here, where for the entire year, 5,500 Satoshi has been a major rejection point. Once we can break this here, we're talking about blue sky territory. That's what you want to see in a chart, but we're not there yet. We actually have a couple pretty nasty wicks here. Let me zoom in a little closer. Again, this is the 4-hour chart. Wick, double wick, rejection here. So we're seeing that stiff hold in this 5,500 area here. We're also clearly seeing, look how high our RSI was on our 4-hour 83. That's very high. It's not super duper high, but it's pretty high. This over here at 92, that's super duper duper high. So we got pretty high there, and who doesn't like to get pretty high? But when you get pretty high there, you just have to come down eventually. So that's important. Keep an eye on if the RSI can cool off. If we can find price stability here, it's a very good possibility this could test here. Otherwise, this line is solid, and until we're able to break it, nothing is going higher than the all-time high area over there. We also can clearly see here. I gotta remember to press that hold harder. There we go. So we see clearly a trend line here. This has acted as support more or less, and every little dip below it has been a decent buying opportunity, as you can see. So as long as this line holds on the down, again, bat can kind of play around in this area here. You know, the bat in the barn, stuck in the barn until it basically finds a way out, or the other thing falls apart. So we'll definitely watch that for this breakout here, or this line to be tested and hold once again, maybe push higher, a break of this, and this is a bearish move here. So again, watching this resistance here, looking for a break. Okay, so that was ADA, that was BAT. Let's do some lumens. And turn my auto off here so we can get a little more room here. So let's draw some lines, shall we? So let's just say right there, this is a clear bottom 2100. We basically had 3 tests here, again, the 4-hour chart, so that's pretty good. This is going to be, you know, our top area up here where we were not able to break out of, and you also see previous history here, here, and here. So that, you know, a little hair under 5,000 Satoshi has been a very hard thing to break. And then recently here we have found good support right under 3,000 Satoshi here. Remember, it had been resistance, we broke it, we tested as support, and we pushed higher. So 3,000 has been a very solid support angle, support level. So it tells us that we don't want to break it ever. If we would tested it again, we want to hold it, which was important there. And now we're finding short-term resistance. Let's see, yeah, I'd say like, yeah, right there. Because 34, maybe 3,500 Satoshi, look how that area was tested as support, held, tested, held, tested, held, tested, held, broke, came back up, it was a little shock there, and then basically was your firm resistance there. We also see here how it was rejected, and then when it actually was able to break out, test confirmed, that led to this nice bullish move here. So clearly, 3,500-ish area is a hard resistance. And the price, you'd want to see it get up there and at least test it. This current 4-hour candle, let me auto up again there. Kind of a nasty wick there. We have about 50 minutes left in the hour. And this needs to look better. If this closes red, that would be a very long wick to stellar lumens there. God, if this is what the 4-hour looks like, then the 1-hour, we have kind of a tweezerish top there. I mean, right there, we basically, that hour topped off. We came down enough. We retested it again, 3,400 on the dot-ish on the Binance exchange, was pretty firm there. So we had our bull break from our previous resistance here, absolutely. But we were only able to go up pennies in the real world, you know, a couple of like 40 Satoshi here. So a nice little move here, and now we're giving some of that back, sir. So we want to hold this. This is very short term here. We want to hold this, you know, 33.23 as a good support. We can continue to build on this here. Looking at our indicators, RSI, you know, once again, very toppy here. Had to pull back, toppy again. This is still very healthy. 4-hour, still healthy, still trying to climb above here, but still a little rejection here right at our 70 area on our 4-hour here. And again, this is the day after, and we were only able to get, you know, I know a lot of today's price move was compensating for some of yesterday evening's price drop, but we're still under 1% 24-hour volume or 24-hour price move in this move. So even though we have some follow up to yesterday's nice candle here, it's 1% basically from where it actually topped off there. So good, but you want to see more follow up here. I think a lot of people are just trying to weigh, is this just a one news amount pop in the price that will basically fade, and we have examples of that we can look at. So one of the other coins, let me do ZRX first actually. So ZRX, again, similar situation here. Tweezer top on our 4 hour. Once again, we have a triple top here right in the 16,500 Satoshi area here. But overall, um, nice bullishness here. This is our support trend line, this yellow one here we want to hold. We were able to put in a higher high from our previous high over here. So bullish, bullish. We want to hold this area here. We don't want to lose our previous higher high. So we want to hold kind of right where we are right now. This was a good break here. That's wonderful. We broke, we put in a higher high. Strong rejection though. So now, clean that guy up. Now we want to put in a higher low. So here's our low here, here's our low here, and then we really want to, on a retrace, somewhere around like 14.5. Let's kind of keep this bullish here, but in theory, we could retrace, as low as here and really as low as right here, as long as we continue to put in a higher low from this here. So ZRX continues to be a decent, nice bullish chart there. Little rejection here on the 4 hour. That would be noted, obviously, from our nice bullish move there. But these wicks here look a little ominous. So we're going to see some consolidation, which would be healthy as long as we stay within the zone. So ZCASH was also one of the ones that was added to Coinbase maybe in the future. But I wanted to bring up this price cluster right here that happened back in May. And I'm pretty sure this was an announcement that ZCASH would be added to the Gemini exchange, and that brought in a very quick bull move there. And now we have similar news on Coinbase, and we had a nice bull move there. But you see the kind of volume that was brought into this here, and maybe a lot of that had to do with the fact that if you bought that news rumor, you'd be down. This is a lower low from before where that news actually came in. So is a similar situation going to happen where we're putting in a lower low once again? So is Zcash, kind of a forerunner to what could happen to ADA, XLM, Z, RX, and potentially even Ethereum Classic, which was announced about a month or two ago. Where are you, Ethereum Classic? There you are. And once again, we were able to break out of our resistance line there. We did test it as support, which is very nice. This is the 4 hour. Nasty wick right there, trying to basically continue to hold. We might test our support line one more time. Remember, this is support. Now it was resistance, now it's support. So it's fine if we hold our support here. We just don't want to put in a lower low. So we want to hold this area here. We really want to hold this area. We want to break out of this area, 27. We want to hold as low as 25, kind of even there. So tight range here. Tight RSI spread here. So it's just waiting, for Bitcoin to make its move. And, let's finish up on Bitcoin here. Again, this is our very tight Bitcoin pattern here, very tight. Every little green candle gets sold into. Profit keeps being taken when it can. There's still little confidence in these bull moves, but we are slowly climbing out of our bearish sentiment. We are slowly gaining a little more bullishness as long as this channel holds. I wanted to end on one interesting thing here. This is CoinMarketCap up top of your screen here. 1,637 cryptocurrencies. That is up like 12 more since my last video about a week ago or so. So they keep adding new coins to further dilute the market. Look at our 24-hour volume here. Let me refresh here. Were we able to break? 3 billion? Are we going to get 3? Wow, we could basically close under 3 billion. It's very possible if we don't get a decent amount of volume in the next 45 minutes here. That's super low. Now, in the past, We have seen times where the volume basically died, suggesting the selling had dried up. So that is a possibility. That this low volume does not necessarily mean that buying has ended, but basically that the selling has ended. That could be a bullish sign there. But we're so low in terms of money flow. And low money flow is not going to bring in additional more money to come into the market right now. We're hovering still right over 100 billion, market cap 107 right now. You know, we held 100 right here with about a billy back just to hold its support there. You know, another retest of the 100 market cap, 100 billion market cap. Not sure it's going to hold. So keep an eye on this right here. It's a lot of treachery right now. There's a lot of indecision. We keep seeing that with these, spinning tops, spinning tops. This is a pretty nasty spinning top here, but it's still, even though it's red, kind of very much showing the indecision in the market here. So we'll keep an eye on this for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. You know, be safe out there. If you don't know what to do, then just don't do anything. You know, Bitcoin is it's a marathon. You're not going to miss anything. These moves will take many times to play out. And as long as you just be smart and just stay focused on your game, on your craft, then you can stay in this game and you can do just fine in the long run, because that's what we're here to do. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up and a follow. Remember, you guys can follow me on YouTube at Jonas Trading. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Big Jonas. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, and we'll talk to you all soon.